In today's video, we're going to talk about perimeter and circumference. And those are two topics that you've discussed in middle school. So let's look at example 1. It says the perimeter of a regular pentagon, let's stop there because we know pentagon has 5 sides, is 15x plus 30. What is the length of one side in terms of x? Well, if we know that the sum of all the sides is 15x plus 30, well, what we can do is we can divide to find out or find one side. So we're going to have 15x plus 30 divided by 5 because we want to find the one side. So just remember that you're going to divide each term. So that's going to equal 3x plus 6. And that's our answer. Okay, example 2. Example 2 says the length of one side of a regular octagon, 8 sides, is 2x minus 3. What is the perimeter in terms of x? Well, for this example, we have the one side and we want to know the perimeter. So what we can do is we can multiply. All right, we can multiply 8 times 2x minus 3. Just remember our distributive property, multiplication across addition and subtraction. So when we multiply those two terms, we're going to get 16x minus 24. And that's our answer. All right. Number 3, the perimeter of a square is 64 inches. What is the area of the square? Well, area of a square, A equals side square. All right, that's the formula. And the perimeter is 64 inches. So in order to plug into my formula, I need to know one side. So I'm going to divide 64 divided by 4. And that's going to give me 16 inches. That's my one side of the square. So now I can say my area equals 16 squared. And that equals 256 inches squared. Remember, area is squared. Okay. Example 4. A circle has an area of 49 pi. Find to the nearest hundredth the circumference of the circle. So just remembering our formulas, area equals pi r squared, and circumference 2 pi r. So what do I need here? I need to find the radius, okay, from the given information. So my area equals 49 pi. So I want to find the radius. So let's plug in. I'm going to have 49 pi is going to equal pi r squared. Again, looking for that radius. So I can divide both sides by pi. All right, they cancel. And then I get 49 equals r squared. Well, I want to know r, or the radius, so I'm going to square root both sides. So r equals 7. Now I can plug that radius into my circumference formula. So C now equals 2 pi times 7, which when I plug into my calculator, and remember to use the pi button, I get 49.98, and let's call it units squared. No, I'm sorry, units, because we're talking about circumference, so we're not squaring. All right. Example 5. The perimeter of a regular hexagon. Well, immediately, 6 sides. Is 72 centimeters. If the length of one side is represented by 2x plus 4, what is the value of x? So what I'm going to do here is I know that the perimeter equals, well, 6 times a side, and I have one side. I'm given what the perimeter is, so I'm going to substitute in because I know it's 72 centimeters. That's going to equal, well, 6 times one side, 2x plus 4. Or I'm going to distribute, I get 72. I can leave the centimeters off right now because I'm really looking for x. 72 equals 12x plus 24. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 24 to both sides. Then I'm going to get 48, or 48 equals 12x, or 12x equals 48. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And then x equals 4. All right. Let's go to our last example. This is a good one. I like it. It says triangle ABC has coordinates A, -6, 2, B, -3, 6, and C, 5, 0. Find the perimeter of the triangle. Express your answer in simplest radical form. Haha. If we're looking for the perimeter of the triangle, we know we're looking to add up the sides. So we're going to find the length of each side of the triangle. So let's go ahead and let's plot those points and label. So again, I've plotted my triangle, which is important that I plot it correctly, because after that, I need to find the distance from A to B, B to C, and A to C, and add them up. Now, distance, well, guess what we're going to use, or what we can use? That's the distance formula. So distance formula, remember, is, I think some people have it memorized, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Now, in class, I've talked about different ways of doing this, but since it's on the coordinate plane, I'm going to do a little something different, which I've done in class. I'm going to create right triangles between my sides. So when I do that, okay, and that's my right angle, when that happens, I can use the Pythagorean theorem because I can count from here, this point to the right angle. That's going to be 4 places. And then from that point to B is going to be 3. And I can find my hypotenuse using Pythagorean theorem. So my distance from AB, well, I'm not going to use it there because you know and I know that that's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So my distance from A to B is going to be, and I don't like that because that's messy. My line segment AB is going to be 5. All right, let's go BC. BC, I'm going to have to do a little work. So I'm going to create my right triangle. That distance there is going to be 6. And then my distance across. And that's 8. So now I can, Pythagorean theorem, all right, it's going to be 8 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. Okay, because the hypotenuse is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to get 64 plus 36 equals C squared. Okay, that's going to be 100. Adding those two together equals c squared. And then I'm going to square root both sides, and I know that the distance is 10 units. Okay, last one, AC. So, and create my right triangle. So that's going to be 11. And then up to A is going to be 2. So I'm going to set up 11 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared. So I'm going to have 121 plus 4 equals c squared. When I add those two together, I'm going to get 125 equals c squared. Now you have to be careful because it says simplest radical form. So I'm going to have to split that apart because I want to simplify that because I know it's going to be the square root of 125. Think of some perfect squares to go into it. Let's see. Square root of 25 times square root of 5. Okay, the square root of 25 is 5. So it's 5 times the square root of 5. Okay, now my finishing piece is I'm going to add the 3 sides. So I'm going to use a different color here. I'm going to have 5 of the perimeter equals 5 plus 10 plus 5 square root of 5. Now what a lot of students would like to do is add that last 5 with the other 2 sides. You cannot do that. All right, those are different terms. So my answer is the perimeter is 15 plus 5 square root of 5, and then that's just units. Because it is not area, so it's just units. Okay. What I want you to do, key ideas, check your understanding, and remember, go Cats, go Knights.